It's that time, y'all. Time for Big Boys Boxing.
If you think I'm a pussy, I'm a punk, you tell me right now. Because listen, I am the baddest man you ever fucking meet.
So that'll give a bit of energy.
Yeah.
It's good night. It is all over in the 11th round.
What's going on, team? Hope you're all doing well. Everybody's keeping safe and keeping good health. So as per usual, let me get a few things sorted here and we'll get right into this very shortly. Champion picture up so that can disappear. Alright, so we had a few heavyweight dust-ups over the weekend. That are really worth talking about, in my opinion. I enjoyed the weekend's boxing. There's a few other fights besides heavyweights there to look at as well. I didn't catch the Jerome Ennis Sergey Lipinets fight. Caught some highlights. Busy watching the other card. It had 5 heavyweight dust-ups on it. So, I'm about to drop a link for anybody who might like to jump on and have a yarn, discuss some of these fights with me. So, boom, there's the link. I'll pin that to the top so it doesn't disappear. And there you go. That is all good. So, I guess we'll start at the bottom of this card that happened in the States over the weekend with 5 heavyweight dust-ups on it. The first fight was Sonny Conto, 6'4", young heavyweight, 6-0. Well, he's 6-0 now. He got a first round KO over Waldo Cortez Acosta. Very much a journeyman level kind of guy. 6-3. He is now after his loss to Sonny Conto, but Sonny Conto's been out of the ring for a while. Some of y'all might remember the name. He's been doing a bit of sparring with Tyson Fury now and again in the Top Rank stable. Long way to come for Sonny Conto, but he's looking okay so far. Looks quite basic, but yeah, he's getting the job done at the level he's fighting at the moment. Oops, I forgot to get into the live panel myself. There we go, I'm in now. So if anybody wants to jump on, just hit that link. Drop you straight into the Discord voice channel and you can come and have a yarn. So moving on to the next heavyweight fight. It was good to get a look at this guy because I hadn't seen him before. Jeremiah Milton, prospect. He's 2-0 now. This is his second pro fight, and he took on Javon Daphne, who prior to the fight was 1-2, no draws. Now, this fight was impressive. The knockout, sure it was this one. I think it was this. Let me have a quick look. No. It was definitely this. So, yeah, Jeremiah Milton stopped this other guy, Javon Daphne, in the first round, but it was like Smokey on Friday, hanging over Devo, going, "You got knocked the fuck out!" Except the dude didn't even go down. He copped a big right hand and was like a statue against the ropes, leaning against the ropes with his hands kind of out to the side, looking like he's posing for a photo. His eyes are wide open and he was looking at his opponent, looking like he's thinking, "Don't hit me, I can't move." he was sparked on his feet against the ropes. I've never seen anybody frozen like that before. It was quite amazing. But Javon Daphne, before he gets in the ring again, I think he's going to need a brain scan, because that was a pretty brutal knockout. But it was not the biggest knockout on the card. There's more to come. So it was a bit of a spectacle, that fight. I enjoyed it. Andre in the house, good to have you in. Message extended, okay. I would like Edric Cabiel, Frank Sanchez. That's a good fight. Good shout, man. That is a good fight. Edric Cabiel needs to get his ass back into gear. He's been so dormant for so long. And I haven't even seen him fight since he fought Derek Chisora, but you know, he was in line to fight, was it Otto Wallen for the EBU title, but Otto Wallen's coach got mugged in New York and fight never went ahead. Nothing's happened for Edric Cabiel since, but yeah, hopefully we can get to see Cabiel in a decent fight, like a fight against Sanchez, or even Jared Anderson or something like that. He needs to get his ass moving again. Anyway, back to the fight schedule, this card that I was talking about, this roundup. So that was Jeremiah Milton, one to keep an eye out for. He looks pretty sharp. He's only 2 fights into his pro career so far. We'll see how he goes, but I'd like to see more of him. The next heavyweight fight on the card was the son of a legend, Trey Lippy Morrison, who was, I thought he was 16-0 before this fight, but it's saying he's 16-0 now. Okay, it is what it is. He fought a journeyman that many of y'all may know called Jason Bergman, bit of a tricky southpaw. Guy who's been in a fair few tough man competitions. He's reasonably durable at a medium level. When it starts getting to elite level, he starts getting stopped earlier and worse. But prior to this fight, he was 27-19. That doesn't right. No, it is. I thought he only had 12 losses. He's got 19 losses now, 27-19. Now this guy, I don't know if he's actually still doing it now, but he was a truck driver and boxing at the same time, so he had a real job doing it tough, fighting in these tough man competitions. Now, when I heard this fight announced, I thought, this might be one of the more competitive fights on the cards beside the main event, because you know I hadn't seen a lot of Trey Lippy Morrison. Talking to a mate, been calling him Trippy Morrison. Apparently Lippy isn't actually his birth name. That's apparently a guy's last name who pretty much raised him while his father was boxing, doing his thing. So he's taken the name of this guy who helped bring him up. His father was doing what he was doing, but anyway, Trippy Morrison. I had some doubts about him. He hadn't faced any kind of decent level of competition, and there's not really much footage out there of any full fights of him. There's a few clips here and there around. So this was good to get a decent look at Trey Lippy Morrison, and it kind of confirmed a few doubts for me. He was trying to be aggressive, and maybe he thought he could just bang Jason Bergman out of there because he's got 19 losses, right? But I knew very well that Bergman was somewhat durable, like I said, but he's also quite a good counterpuncher. He's not very, doesn't have a high output or anything like that, but he waits for his opportunity. And when he fought Joseph Parker in Samoa a few years ago, I can't remember whether it was the first or the second round. I think it was the end of the first round. Bergman caught. Well, he was backed up in the corner and taking shots from Joseph Parker, and he just timed one straight left hand, and it put Joseph Parker back. Kind of stunned him. It was almost like he was, where the hell did that come from? And you could tell it hurt. And you know what kind of chin Joseph Parker has? He's got a very good chin, so to be stunned like that and make him back off for a few seconds, it hurt him. And I knew this was going to be a possibility, especially against some of these young fighters. Actually, I did hear in the commentary the 12 losses that I was talking about with Jason Bergman. He's fought 12 undefeated up-and-coming prospects, and he's lost 12 times to them. So that's where that number 12 came from. But, in the first round, it looked to me like a knockdown. Jason Bergman landed a good counter shot and put Trippy Morrison down, but the ref called it a slip. And Bergman was not happy about it. After Morrison got up and the ref had said box, Bergman turned around to the referee and stood over him like he was going to try and smash him over and steal his shoes, and was saying, like, are you seriously not calling that a knockdown? And he's got his back to Trey Lippy Morrison. He's been told to box. He could have come in behind and hit him with a hook from behind in the side of the head, and he would have been well within his rights. I was worried for the ref's safety for a minute. It looked like Jason Bergman was going to pop the ref for not calling the knockdown correctly. But he didn't. So the fight continued. Trey Lippy Morrison was coming forward, trying to be aggressive, trying to get his man out of there. And then when Bergman tried to throw a counter jab, as you slide forward with his foot, it looked like he rolled his ankle. End of the fight. TKO victory for Trippy Morrison. So I think he got off quite lightly on that occasion. There is the point that Trippy had been out of the ring for quite some time, more than a year. There could be a bit of ring rust there, but I mean, I don't know what Jason Bergman's been doing actually. I'll bring that up and have a quick look. When was the last time Jason Bergman fought before this fight? Because if he's got the same amount of time out of the ring, then they both got ring rust, and it's an even playing field, isn't it? So, Jason Bergman's last fight prior to this one was 12th of December last year, so it wasn't that long he's been out of the ring. 4 months. So that excuse doesn't fly for Jason Bergman as well, so it wasn't an even playing field when it comes to ring rust. However, I suspect Trey Lippy Morrison would have been getting better sparring than Jason Bergman anyway. But I think Trey Lippy Morrison got pretty lucky in that fight. I think it was heading for a point where Bergman was going to land something once Morrison was slowing down, and I think he might have got stopped. So I think he got a very lucky escape out of that fight. Have a quick look. We've got a few in the chat now as well. Francis Ngannou in boxing. Great. I'm not much of a fan of these crossover athletes. Pick a sport and stick to it, or they don't drift between them. If you're going to change sports, then get into it. Islam Bekmambetov versus Carlos Negron. That's an okay fight. It was recently, there was talk coming out that Deontay Wilder might be fighting Carlos Negron as a tune-up, and I've seen so many people talk about how much of a bum Carlos Negron is, and I think people are underestimating him. You know, the dude went to the Olympics. He did lose to Dominic Brazil, but FYI, he changed coach after that and has been training with what's his name? Can't remember his name off the top of my head. Luis Ortiz, and yeah, Luis Ortiz's coach. And he's been making some improvements. I saw some improvement in his last fight. I can't remember who it was off the top of my head. Jesus, my memory's getting bad. Makhmudov versus Negron isn't too bad a fight. I'd expect Makhmudov to still clean his clock, but might be better than most of the opponents Makhmudov's faced so far. But that's a decent shout, man. Decent shout. Reality's Voice. Evening all. Good to have you in, brother. It is morning here. Like, what's the time here in New Zealand? It's 9:29 on Tuesday morning here in New Zealand. But good afternoon, good evening, and good morning to everyone else out there as well. Thanks for dropping by Reality's Voice. Jermaine Franklin versus Stephen Shaw. Yeah, Jermaine Franklin's going to get smashed over, and I can't wait to see the end of that dude. He's got two decisions in my eyes that he lost. I think he lost to Jerry Forrest, and you could also argue he lost to Rydell Booker. And for me, if you can't convincingly beat Rydell Booker, then you just ain't got it. I mean, he's got a lot of volume. He throws a lot of punches. He comes forward, but he doesn't seem to have a lot of power, and he gets hit a lot, man. And I'm pretty sure Stephen Shaw is going to be able to knock him the beep out. He might not, actually. You know, Franklin's pretty durable. I'll give him that. But with the level of opponents he's faced, it's hard to judge that durability. It looks like he's fairly durable. So it may go the distance, but I expect Stephen Shaw to be able to beat him quite convincingly. Yeah, it's on April 22nd, and I'm looking forward to it. Right, so back to that card. Where was the next one? We did Trippy Morrison. The next one was Jared Anderson. This dude, I think, is the brightest American prospect on the planet at the moment. He is, after his win on the weekend, he is now 8-0, and he was fighting Jeremiah Carpensi. And for me, I thought this was a step down from Kingsley eBay. It was Anderson's last fight. Jeremiah Carpensi, the fat little tubby dude, took a few punches, but only lasted 2 rounds. Got put down twice with a body shot. Didn't get up the second time. The dude did not belong in the ring with Jared Anderson. So Jared Anderson moves onwards and upwards. He's still 8-0, so I guess he's still got a few more. What shall I call them? Record padding level fights. A few more of them, and then maybe step up 5 fights once he gets to 10 to a little bit higher competition. But this kid's got a big future, and a fight down the road I want to see is Jared Anderson and Fabio Wardley getting it on. I think that's a great entertaining fight, but because they're so early in their careers, we're not going to see that one for a while if it ever happens. But that's one of the fights I really want to see down the road sometime. Jared Anderson and Fabio Wardley. Kid's got some real talent. He's sharp, he's quick, got some power when he wants to pour it on. I guess what we need to know about Jared Anderson is how is he going to handle adversity, which is something that these up and comers don't usually see till after their 10th sort of fight. So it's going to be interesting when he comes up against somebody who's young and hungry, quick, just as quick as him, kind of like Fabio Woodley. That sort of fighter. When he comes up against someone who's a similar level, how's he going to handle adversity? One day we will find out. It's a bright future for him anyway. I'll say that much. But I can't say I was too thrilled with the opponent choice for Jared Anderson on this card. But he's staying busy, building his record, moving along. Now the next one was the most brutal knockout on the entire card. I'm just going to care, just chat, see if we've got any new comments. No, we don't. So we're back. F.A. Ajagba, who's now 14-0, gets his 14th win via a brutal KO in the third round against former cruiserweight Brian Howard. Now, this was another one when it got announced. Not many people were talking about it because it's Brian Howard. He's only had 3 heavyweight fights and he's a cruiserweight, so he must be like a bum. But Brian Howard isn't a bad fighter. He's sneaky. He's got pretty good counter-punching power. He's reasonably durable as well. So, yeah. And he beat Carlos Negron via KO, man. So, like I say, he's got some power. But I'm sure there's a couple of fighters that he's beaten that he was not supposed to beat. Looking through his resume here. Richard Rivera. He was a prospect at 11-0. Oh yeah, and Brian Howard beat him on points over 8. I'm sure there's a couple of fights that he's just sparked people that he was supposed to lose to. Umar Salamov was a pretty decent cruiserweight, and Howard lost to him via 9th round KO. He's fought Shondell Winters, and he beat Shondell Winters in 2 rounds via KO. That's better than Alan Babbitt. Took 3 rounds to get rid of Shondell Terrell Winters, didn't he? That's not the one I'm thinking of. I'm sure there's another one somewhere that he wasn't supposed to win and he sparked somebody out. I think I'll find it. Maybe I'm thinking of something. Might be. Maybe it was just Carlos Negron that I was thinking of. I mean, I can't find anything else. So it must have just been the Carlos Negron one I was thinking of. Yeah. So, it was, Ajagba didn't come out as hard as he usually does. He seemed a bit more patient, and you can understand why. He had a tough time against Ali Rantamirazan, who was also an Olympian, by the way. And people hear Ali Rantamirazan and they don't know the name, so they instantly think he's a bum, but he's a pretty decent fighter as well. That was a tough fight for Ajagba. It went the distance, but he still got the win. But I guess the reason he's so cautious these days is because he got floored by Iago Kaladze, a former cruiserweight, who isn't actually that bad a fighter. He's been chucked in there with some high-level prospects, lost a lot of the time, but given some really good work in those first 3 or 4 rounds. And I think it was round 4, something like that, where Kaladze landed a good counter and put FA flat on his ass. He did get up, managed to keep throwing, gas out his opponent, gas out Kaladze, and get the stoppage eventually. But he's also changed coaches. He used to be under I think it was Buddy McGurk. No, it wasn't. It was it Buddy McGurk? No, it wasn't. It was someone else. I can't remember. But when he left PBC, his trainer questioned Ajagba's loyalty and left his. He left the guy who was paying him to train him just because he left PBC. And left Al Heyman and took on Jay Prince. So if Ajagba's training under K. Karoma now, he's taken some adversity, so he seemed a lot more patient in those first couple of rounds. Howard was doing his usual thing, trying to punch with the Ajagba and land some counters, trying to land that big knockout punch, kind of like he did with Carlos Negron. He was having a little bit of success. He wasn't doing any damage. He was landing a bit here and there, but let's face it, at this point, Efe Ajagba, with his lack of head movement, isn't the hardest fighter to punch. As long as you can time him and not get caught with something too big, he's not that hard to hit, due to his lack of head movement, lack of bending at the waist, very straight up and down stance. But Efe did land one straight right hand, and as you can see for the thumbnail on this video, Brian Howard was out cold, body turned to jelly, or twisted up on his face, on his side at the same time, with his arm all curled up and around him in an awkward position. Ajagba turned his lights out and really had me worried for the health of Brian Howard, but he did get up not long after the fight finished and managed to walk out of the ring under his own power, so glad he was alright. But that was an absolutely brutal KO, man. Absolutely brutal. Bridgerweight should be abolished. Not great for boxing. I don't know, man. I think there's room for another division there. I think they got the weight slightly wrong, but I can see why they didn't want to mess with current weights. You know, if it was me, I'd be putting Bridgerweight from 190 to 220. So put the cruiserweight weight back down to what it used to be at 190, so it doesn't make such a big gap between 175 and 200. That's just too much. 15 pounds should be plenty. I mean, we go from 168 to 175, so we've got 7 pounds there, and then you got a 25-pound gap to heavyweight. But these tiny weight divisions have only got 2 and 4 pounds between them. They should be dropping a couple of those super divisions in the smaller weights and make room for cruiserweight being 175 to 190, and then 190 to, or even 195, even maybe somewhere around there, not 200, I think, and then have 220 top limit, or 225, depending if you do 190 or 195 pounds at the bottom end. and have a division there, because there's so many guys that are just too small for heavyweight, but they can't make cruiserweight. So there's got to be a place for them. When you're looking across 25 pounds, it doesn't seem fair with these little fellas only having to drop 2 or 4 pounds to change divisions. But I did see the inaugural Bridgerweight fight. It was quite entertaining, and we do have a Bridgerweight world title coming up between Oscar Rivas and Bryant Jennings. I'm not actually sure if that's confirmed yet. Let's see if they got it on BoxRec. Have a look. I'm pretty sure it was confirmed already. I don't know if it'll be on BoxRec. It's going to be interesting too, because that's going to mess BoxRec's stats and everything up, isn't it? So no, it's not confirmed on BoxRec at this point. Yeah, I've heard Oscar Rivas and Bryant Jennings are going to be having a, well, it is a rematch, isn't it? But that's going to be for the WBC's Bridgerweight title. Keep deleting your messages. How do you say your name? Is it Adari? Excuse my ignorance. There's better quality of heavyweights now than the Klitschko. Yeah, well, I'd agree with that. The Klitschko era was boring as shit. That's the longest time I've spent away from boxing in my life, as well, while Vladimir was reigning over his 10-year unbeaten stint. It was a bit more interesting when Klitschko was getting KO'd, and Vitali was still around, and the end of Lennox's career was still there. But the heavyweight division is popping now. We've got a lot of up and coming heavyweights, a lot of unbeaten guys. Looks like we've got a solid 3, and then probably a group of about 6 the next level below that, and then a group of about 20 up and comers below that. So the heavyweight division is looking entertaining for the next few years. Definitely looking forward to some of these matchups, like I was talking about before with Jared Anderson, Fabio Wardley. We're getting one coming soon between Michael Hunter and Filip Hrgovic. There was a purse bid set for that, but they've delayed that because apparently the talks they're very close to having the fight made. I wouldn't at all be surprised if that fight ends up on the Fury Joshua undercard when and if that happens. So we shall see. Cruiserweight, they need to cinch with other belts. Or sync with other belts. I'm not sure what you mean. Do you mean other divisions? Other belts? I mean, for recognized sanctioning bodies. It's pretty straightforward. Change cruiserweight, they would need to sync the other belts. Oh, the other divisions, you mean? Yeah. Oh no, the other governing bodies. Yeah, exactly. And that's a mission. And these governing bodies seem to do as much as they can to avoid working with other governing bodies. It is what it is, man. So many belts in this era, it makes it more complicated. Bringing in a new division It's hitting a lot of brick walls when it comes to fans, but those those big guys that are too small to win titles at heavyweight, they're freaking entertaining because they throw a hell of a lot more punches. They don't gas as easy. I mean, without looking at the politics of governing bodies in boxing, I think it's a good move. But once the politics gets added in there and starts messing up weight divisions like you're talking about, yeah, I agree. G-Man in the house, good to have you in, brother. Shout out to G-Man Boxing. Go check him out if you haven't already. Michael Polite Coffee versus Bogdan Dinu. Man, that was another one I wouldn't mind seeing. Jared Anderson and Michael Polite Coffee. I think Polite Coffee is definitely the second best looking prospect in America for me. I mean, the first time I seen that fight, I was like, who the hell is this dude? Where did he come from? He's a ex-Marine, so I think he was in Afghanistan at one point or something. He's a little bit older to take up his boxing career when he came out of the army or the Marines, sorry. But Bogdan Dinu, he's an interesting character as well. He's kind of like a bigger version of Yago Kaladze in my eyes. You know, the dude's got some skills and he can box. But the problem is he hasn't got the gas tank and the conditioning to continue doing what he does in the first few rounds. Big ups to the man though. He's got a real job. I think he's like part of the SWAT team in his home country or something. So he's not even fully concentrated on boxing. But if the dude could fully concentrate on boxing, get a decent coach, get himself in good condition, he could be a problem for a lot of heavyweights. But the reality of it is, he likes his job. Boxing's like a secondary thing to him. But it's a decent scrap. I wouldn't mind seeing Michael Polite Coffee be Bogdan Dinu, but I think Coffee get him out of there in 4 rounds. There'd be some interesting rounds in the first couple of rounds, I think, but once Dinu gets a couple of good shots landed on him, he breaks pretty quickly. So yeah. I agree with the cruiserweight 190. Yeah, I think they did that. I can't even remember when they did it. I think it was in the 90s, early 90s. They changed cruiserweight to 200 pounds. But when they did it, there weren't like 6'9" freaking heavyweights around, were they? Guys that walk around at 280 pounds when they're fit. Those sort of fighters didn't exist when they changed the cruiserweight weight limit. So I could understand what they were doing there. You wouldn't often see heavyweights in shape above 250 pounds, but it's a totally different ball game now. With having these 6'6", 6'7", 6'8", 9 guys who can box and move and be competitive against the smaller, faster guys still. The 200-pound weight limit for cruiserweight is just too much. Having 25 pounds from light heavyweight is so it's kind of caught between a rock and a hard place. There's no place for those guys that weigh around 220 pounds, but unless they want to go and fight for the WBC belt, the Bridgerweight title. So I don't know whether the other governing bodies are going to come around. I think there'll probably be a period of watch and wait and see what happens. But for us fans, it could definitely still provide us with some great entertainment. So we'll see what happens, man. We'll see what happens. more sanctioning fees here. That's the way everybody sees it, because we all know the governing bodies are thieves. They all say they're non-profit organisations, but we know that's a lie. They're in it for the money. And yes, another division does make for more sanctioning fees, but when they started talking about it, like I said, they should have gotten rid of a couple of those really small weight divisions, the super divisions or the junior divisions, whichever you want to call them. Because the space between those divisions is just too small. I know you look at percentage of body weight, and as you get bigger, the gaps between divisions should get bigger, but going from 7 pounds at 168, 175, and then a massive jump to 200. Not fair on us, big fat boys, eh? Not fair at all. Coffee versus Carlos Takam next year. Heard whispers about that. Coffee's gonna beat the living snot out of Takam. He's done, man. He's washed. He barely was able to beat Jerry Forrest, was Carlos Takam. So, I mean, yes, it's a name. Yes, he's only challenged for a title once, hasn't he, Carlos Takam? Unless you class challenging Alexander Povetkin while he had the WBA regular title. I think he had it when they fought, but yeah, Carlos Takam's a name, but he's well past his best now. I could see how much his conditioning was paying a price, and his speed is just not there anymore. So yeah, polite coffee. He'll get rid of Takam in 6 or 7 rounds, I think. Takam's still pretty crafty when it comes to defense, but I don't think he's quick enough anymore to be able to land a lot of inside counter shots like he used to. Luis Ortiz versus Kurat Pulev on the undercard of AJ and Fury would be great. Yeah, I agree. And that's a fight that I've talked about. Oh no, it's not. That's not a bad fight, but the possibility of it happening with how things are with PBC fighters crossing the road, I just can't see it happening. I can't see it happening. Someone else, Kurat Pulev. Who was I thinking? Kurat Pulev and Ajit Kabiel can fight. They're both top-ranked fighters. No excuse not to make that fight. And I think it's a good fight for Kabiel, coming off a long period of inactivity. He needs to get his name back up there before he gets too old and needs a freaking Zimmer frame. Pulev's already halfway there, so that's a good fight to make. I think is Ajit Kabiel and Kurat Pulev, or even the winner of Jennings v Rivas could fight Michael Polite Coffee. Polite Coffee, he a PBC fighter too? I think he is. I can't remember. No, he's a top ranked fighter, isn't he? I can't remember. Weird. Not that important at this point. Anyway, got Unrivaled in the house. How are you today, Mark?
I'm doing great, brother. How are you? God bless.
Not too bad, not too bad. Good. Yeah, so I was just going through a few of these fights, the heavyweight fights that happened on the Vlasov Joe Smith card on the weekend. Got any thoughts about any of those fights since I've given mine already? Those heavyweight ones, and then we'll get into the Vlasov Joe Smith fight after that.
Man, it was nice to see Sonny Conto properly, even if it was short. Really nice to see him. He looked really well to me. He looks like he's got a decent little future ahead of him, so I enjoyed watching him. Not much I can read into it. Same with Anderson Nefe, they did what they were supposed to do, didn't they?
Yeah.
But Tommy Morrison's son ain't going anywhere, is he?
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah. he's kind of exposed getting... Oh, did you think that was a knockdown? The first one from Jason Bergman?
Yeah,
Yeah, I thought it was too. So,
I did.
yeah. But, yeah, I think it's a pretty lucky escape for old Trippy Morrison. Pretty lucky. Oh yeah, everyone else was... Oh, I hadn't seen, that Milton guy before. I hadn't seen a full fight of him. So it was good to get a good look at him. Had you seen him before?
Oh. A little bit, but not much. Like, when I say a little bit, I mean like a clip.
Okay.
What I've seen in there, I didn't see a lot because no disrespect to him. His opponent was really bad.
He was, wasn't he? Even
He
worse
was like
now.
slapping and clubbing, like he was hitting like a woman who's throwing a tantrum at like her partner on the streets. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. You speak too much money. But no, it was entertainment for the heavyweights. It's good that we had a bit of action. We haven't had that many fights on one card for a while, so it was good. But the main event, wow, that was an interesting fight. So you initially were picking Maxim to win, weren't you? And then you changed. You picked the Joe Smith. Is that correct?
Good to see that you watch me content channel. Yeah. Yeah, I was going with Vlasov. I changed it. The main reason I changed it, I was just thinking, I don't know, man, politically. I wasn't too sure. I felt Vlasov could give him a lot of problems. But I changed my mind.
Yeah.
I thought Smith might edge it on points.
Yeah, well, I thought Smith was going to just be too much, but do you think he looked a little out of sorts in the early rounds?
I think he was confused by Vlasov's style.
Yeah, he didn't know what to do. The volume as well from Vlasov. I mean, everybody who knows him was expecting there was going to be a lot of volume and the herky-jerky, awkward movement. But it seems Joe Smith was not prepared for that, man. I do have my score sheet right here. I had Vlasov winning the fights. 115, 115, 113. So I gave Joe Smith Jr. the second round, the fourth round, and that was it for the first six. And then the second six, I gave Joe Smith the seventh, the 10th, is it? It must be the 10th and the 12th.
Yeah.
Something like
It was intriguing.
Yeah.
It was an intriguing point, man. Like, I scored at 6-6 live, but I feel like I gave every swing round to Joe.
Okay.
So, if I did, like, best case scenario, he got a draw. I don't see how he won the fight, bro. I just don't see it. I can't see how he won it.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. I wouldn't have argued with the draw. I thought they're probably going to give a draw because Joe Smith's showing it really. But when they said Vlasov's name, I went, ooh, there's going to be some stink kicked up about that. You know, some bias to the Russian, against the Russian and the away fighter. Not really wide enough to scream robbery too much, though, I think. But, yeah, certainly an entertaining fight to watch. Can Joe Smith,
Really good fight.
Can Joe Smith come back better?
Well, maybe he'll do better with a different style of opponent. That type of volume and the angles and the head movement. Like, Joe's just constantly on a straight line, isn't he?
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I don't know.
Vlasov's got a chin too, man. He got caught with a few goodies. Didn't look
He's always had
bad.
it.
Yeah. Yeah, I hadn't seen a lot of him. I kind of seen enough to pick up what to expect prior to the fight, but I hadn't watched a lot of him. So, what's that? His second title shot, and he's failed again. Is he going to give up, old Maxim?
I hope not.
I know. Yeah.
I just hope not. I hope not, man, because I enjoy watching the geezer fight.
I was actually a little bit surprised at how good he looked at light heavyweight. He hadn't been down there for a while. He'd been doing most of his fighting at cruiserweight, hadn't he?
He previously fought at like 168, moved up to 175, and then up to cruiser, and he fought a few fights there and had a couple gimme fights at 175. I wasn't too surprised.
Yep, that was definitely an interesting fight. So is Joe Smith gonna try and get a fight with Better Bev, you reckon?
God, I hope so. That's a fun fight. That's a
Fun
good.
fight.
That's
Yeah.
a fun fight.
That's a fight that ain't going to the cards no matter what happens. So it should be fun. I did notice the top ranked commentators seem to be disregarding Bivol as a potential match. Do you know why? He's a champion.
Well, he's already fought. He's already fought B-Ball, hasn't he, and lost.
He has, but unification's unification, isn't it?
Well, because B-Ball's over on his own.
Oh, true. Yeah, that'll kill it.
So, of course, they're going to talk about Biturbia versus him because that's unification in-house.
Of course. Yeah. Double dip will always win. Yes. All right, man. So I missed the Geroninus and Sergey Lipinets fight. I've seen the ending, just a clip, but you want to give us your take of how you thought that fight went, man?
Geron did well. He did well. Look, he was a much bigger guy. He had all of the advantages. Lipinets hasn't looked great out welter, but he ragdolled him. He beat him up. He made him look terrible.
Easy work.
He needs to be careful of his straight lines, bro. That's all I'll say. I'll leave that. Yeah? Geron Ennis needs to work on his straight lines because he goes back in straight lines, and a good closer will knock him off balance.
Yeah. After that performance, I see there's quite a few people talking about him fighting Errol Spence or Terence Crawford. I can't see him being ready for that as yet. No way. What are your thoughts on that one?
I'd pick both of them to knock him out.
So there you have it.
Give him time.
Somebody who really does know their boxing says he ain't ready. So he ain't ready.
Well, I kind of am in boxing, but give him more time. Give him some more fights. Lipinets doesn't get you ready for Spencer Crawford.
No way. All right.
No.
We did have a fight April 22nd. There was someone talking about a fight earlier in the chat. Is that it? Frank Sanchez and Ajit Cabello? That being made?
What?
Was that
what?
No. That's just somebody wants to see the fight. That's not the one I was thinking of. Sorry. Good fight though, eh?
Hell yeah! I'll watch that.
There it is.
That's a boxing match right there. It's a good boxing match.
Yeah. Now, Aslanbek Makhmudov and Carlos Negron was the one on April 22nd.
Wait, Negron's fighting against Makhmudov?
Looks like it, yeah. Which takes Wilder's tune-up out of the picture, if that was, because that rumor was going around, wasn't it?
It may have been on. You sure it's Makhmudov Negron?
I'm just trying to look it up on BoxRec now. Someone mentioned it earlier in the chat. I don't know if
I thought it was somebody else that he was going to be fighting. I heard a name the other day. It wasn't Negron. Let me check.
But Negron's it's not on Negron's BoxRec.
Let's see.
Jeez, hard to spell. Aslanbek Makhmudov. He's got no confirmed fight.
I can't find it.
Yeah. I'll have to troll through some news articles to see what our viewer was talking about. Adari, did you see that fight confirmed somewhere, or was it just a?
I've confirmed he's fighting. I know he's fighting, and I believe it's on the Munguia undercard. I know it's not in the ground.
Okay. And that's on the 23rd of April, isn't it? Not this.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It might not be Carlos Negron. We shall see.
22nd is Thursday, and that's my birthday.
Yep.
Oh.
And you'll be what? 28? 27?
Yes, sir.
28. You're the man. My memory ain't that bad. And we're only a few weeks away from Parker versus Shizora, so we're looking forward to that one. That's going to be a fun fight. No.
Hopefully it is, because I have to pay pay-per-view for that. And I don't really like paying pay-per-view for somebody who's always losing and the other one who's always boring.
Yep, true that. I don't know if we've got anything else on the card yet. Parker. Oops. Let's see. Getting closer, so you'd think there'd be some more fights confirmed by now. And there is. So we've got Parker Shizora at the top of the card. We've got Dmitry Bivol was fighting on that card. He's going to be fighting
Against Craig Richards.
Craig Richards, yep. Who's 16-1-1. That's pretty much a tune-up, but I guess he gets a bit of a pass since he's been out of the ring for so long, old Bivol.
Yeah, plus it's a good shot for Richards.
True that.
Getting a shot at a world title. British champion.
Yep. We've got Katie Taylor and Natasha Jonas on there as well. Eddie's pushing these female fights a lot at the moment, isn't he?
Yeah.
That's what it is. Also got...
That's a good fight, though.
Yeah.
For women.
Definitely worth a look. We've also got...
Chris Eubank Jr. versus Marcus Morrison.
Yeah. Marcus Morrison, 23-3. I can't say I know much about that guy.
Will I give you two of his losses off it?
Yeah, go on.
He lost to Toyan Booth and Jason Wellborn.
Okay, that's a tune-up for Eubank then too, is it? Right, yo.
He lost to he lost to Toyan Booth, bro.
Was it knocked out or was it just points?
I don't know. He just got beat up.
Cares. We've also got Campbell Hatton's going to be fighting on the card against the almighty TBA at this point.
Yeah, 2 pay-per-view cards back-to-back for Campbell Hatton.
Pretty lucky, I guess. Those are some of the perks of having a famous father, isn't it?
There you go.
Yeah.
He's got a name. He's got name value.
Yeah, well, let's hope he lives up to it. Lives up to his father's name to a degree. Be his own man, of course, but yeah. I've also got Scott Fitzgerald on the card, and he's also fighting the almighty TBA at this point. So no other heavies on the card, which is a little disappointing. I thought maybe we'll have something else on there. Wouldn't mind seeing.
Maybe they'll get Fisher back out there or something.
Yeah, what's that guy? Steve SSR.
Robinson, Steve USSR Robinson.
Yeah, why not put him on the card? Right down the bottom or something like that. Need another heavyweight.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Another heavyweight fight on a heavyweight card would be nice.
Get him on there, get Fisher on there, get someone.
Yeah. But, yeah. Right, is there any other fights in the near future you're really looking forward to?
All of them.
All of them. Now that's a real boxing fan. Good on you, man.
Just whether or not I'm going to pay for all of them is another one, because some of them aren't worth paying for, but I'm looking forward to everything. Calendar's pretty good, man. Calendar is pretty good. I'm looking forward to Andre Williams next week.
Yeah, that could be. It's J Rock, is it? Yeah.
Huh?
Who's he fighting? Which Williams?
Liam Williams.
Oh, Liam Williams. Okay. Right. Yep. Could be worth a look. For me, Liam Williams gets a bit boring at times for me, but he's a decent opponent. So
Wait, Liam Williams gets boring for you?
I'm thinking of Liam Williams.
Maybe you're thinking of Liam Smith?
Ah, that's who I'm thinking
Liam,
of. Yeah, no, I'm thinking of Liam Smith. Yeah,
you're
my
thinking
bad.
of Beefy.
Yeah,
Liam Williams. Liam Williams is the Welsh cat who comes out and just tries to decapitate people.
That'll be fun then. That will be fun. I'll be looking forward to it.
Maybe it'll be fun. It depends. It could be very boring very quickly.
Yeah, could only be a 1 minute matchup.
Andre could box the shit out of him and make him look terrible.
Indeed. Right, the big one. Are we going to get this announcement in the next day or two for Undisputed at heavyweight?
Hell no.
No? No? I thought it
Tyson
was...
Fury said. Tyson Fury's like, until Tuesday, we're not getting that announcement. Ain't coming tomorrow, bro. You crazy?
already Tuesday here. But
well, he's talking Tuesday here.
Yeah. Well, I'd worked it out when I'd heard Tyson say you got a 3-day deadline or whatever it was. Went back through the news articles and seen that it was announced that the contract had been signed on the 16th of March. So looked at the calendar and it worked out the 13th of April was the deadline for this contract expiring. But then I've heard a few other people say, oh, the deadline was just thrown in there as a guideline. And I'm thinking to myself, something's in a contract. It's in fucking concrete. So it's not just thrown in there. You got thoughts on the deadline?
No. I've zero thoughts on it. This is my thing, right? I'm hopeful the fight gets announced. I'm not hopeful that it's tomorrow. I'm just hopeful it gets announced.
Yep. I'm hoping
if Tyson Fury's like, nah, they're not getting this shit done, and he pulls out, fuck him. Just fuck him. In all honesty, I like the guy, but just fuck him. I want this fight to be done. Whenever it gets done, it gets done. This is the fight that should happen next. This is the fight of the heavyweight division. This is the fight of boxing. Get her done.
Yeah. In all seriousness, I think Tyson was just trying to throw a bit of pressure back at Eddie Hearn and Anthony Joshua to get shit done. As we know, he's saying he wants to fight 2 or 3 times this year, so getting towards the middle of the year very soon, and he wants that time to get those 2 matches in, so that'll get made.
I get him, but at the same point, bro, he's drawing pressure at them to get it done. Why isn't he getting it done?
Yeah, why his promoters?
Why is everything? Honest to God, why is it all on Eddie?
Correct. Supposed to be co-promoted by 3 different promoters, isn't it? So they should all be doing the work, not just Eddie. That'll happen. I'm hopeful it'll get announced this week. I'm not going to say tomorrow, but I think this week's realistic.
If it gets announced and we get a venue and we get it tomorrow or this week, it's fucking go time in these YouTube streets, bro.
Fucking oath.
It's fucking go time, John.
Yeah, man. Yep. I'm just really hopeful we're not going to get disappointed again, and the only way we're going to get disappointed is, like you say, if Tyson walks away. I think if he does that, he's going to be copping so much. It'll be the biggest payday of his career twice too, so it makes no sense to walk away from it. But
oh no, his fans will say he needs that fight. He needs that tune-up in between. They're keeping him too long. They don't want it. Fanboys will fucking come up with some stupid-ass excuse.
as they do, yeah.
And I'll just be sat there. I'll be pissed, bro. I'll be fucking pissed.
I mean, if it's about inactivity, what's stopping Tyson having a real fight in the gym with headgear on? Just have a real fight. Set it up properly. Have a real fight. Not that hard. I mean, he's got Joe Parker over there visiting him two times a week or whatever at the moment. So get it done.
Nice. Is he sparring with Joe, is he?
I'm not sure. I know he's visiting. Joe's been visiting, but I heard Tyson's in the States again at the moment for some reason. I don't know where he is, but they're very pally, and there's opportunity for both of them to get good sparring in.
Whereabouts in the States is he?
I'm not sure. It was only this morning I heard he was somewhere over there. But then it was only a couple of days ago I heard he was in the UK, so.
Let me find out. Let me go to Michelle Joy Phelps instead. Right?
Yeah.
Because she interviewed him, didn't she? So where did she interview him?
Through that. Tell us.
Let's see. Michelle Joy Phelps. Alright. Insta.
Yeah.
Where's the location? Does it show? No, she doesn't have the location turned on there. No.
I imagine she wouldn't be in the UK at the moment with the pandemic and whatnot. Be somewhere in the States.
Well, this is definitely out in the States for sure.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's Dubai. Looks like it might be Dubai based on what they're dressed wearing.
Ooh. Why is Fury in Dubai? Is that going to be where it's going to be? I hear it's in the running. Yeah.
Let's wait and see.
Yep. No point in speculating.
This is my whole thing, John. We'll find out soon enough if it's happening or if it's not.
Yep. I'm just sick of waiting, man. Sick of waiting and being disappointed. So I'm trying not to get my hopes up too high. Just to be crashed down again. Alright, so I guess when that gets announced, we're going to get some fights announced pretty quickly on the card as well, I imagine. They'll want to have that all set in stone as quick as possible so they can get the promotion up and running. Hopefully we're going to get it. They're talking about, what, 24th of July is the date I heard floating around, or 27th of July. Looking like it might be the end of the July, so let's get it. And I'll be happy.
Here's hoping.
Here's hoping. That's the one. Alright, man. So we've been on for a while. Hope y'all have enjoyed. Make sure you hit that like. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Make sure you get over to Mark's channel as well. It's Unrivaled Boxing Talk. I'm sure you're already subscribed to him anyway. And there was also G-Man Boxing in the chat as well. Get over and check him out if you haven't. And yeah, we all kind of support each other and keep it moving. Any final words there, Mark?
No, not much, man. Just God bless you for having me on. God bless you for still covering the heavyweights. Sometimes I know it can be tried and test. It can be pretty testing sometimes with some of the stuff that goes on. You don't get certain fights that you'd really like to see. But God bless you. God bless to everybody in the chat. If you're watching on archive and you've never been here before, please subscribe to Big Boys Boxing. If you're currently listening, please hit that like, and if you are new, subscribe. And yeah, that's it. Thanks a million, man.
Awesome. Thanks for dropping in, Mark. Take it easy, brother. And a super chat from G-Man Boxing. Shout out to G-Man. Thank you very much, brother. Appreciate that. And that is about us for today. So I am about to go and play a little Fight Night Champion as I do some work in the gym. There is some details about how you can get in touch with me on Xbox Live in the description. If you want to come and join the gym, you can find it. The gym name's in there as well. And all the other social media links are there. Check them out. So thanks for joining us, and we'll catch you next time. I'm Jono. Peace. And that is a wrap for today. Hope you all enjoyed today's session. If you have, be sure to hit that thumbs up button and subscribe to the channel so not to miss future content. If you'd like to get more involved with the channel, off air, and with the subscribers, you can head to the main channel page, and up on the right of the channel banner there is this Discord invite link. Once you click on that, it will take you to the Big Boys Boxing Discord server. Over here we have multiple platforms for chat. We have general chat, which is anything boxing. We have live fight links, where I drop links to fights within 24 hours of them screening. We have live fight replays. I drop the occasional replay here so you can come and watch them. We also have Fight Night Chat, which is for people who play Fight Night Champion. I play a bit of it. You can come and talk strategies, tips, whatever here. But the main thing here is this live panel voice channel. If you ever want to get involved on the live panel on YouTube, this is where it runs from. You come here, simply click on it, and you are in the live chat. And see the green rings come up when I speak. That means your mic is active. Down the bottom here, if you want to mute at any time, you can do so, like that. And if you want to get out at all, there's this hang up button right here. And that's all there is to it. So like I say, I'm Jono from Big Boys Boxing. I will catch you next time. Peace.